The tea shop was in a small cottage, and Uncle John walked me back to the ladies' room, telling me he would watch the door for me. I shut it behind me with a sigh of relief before hiking up my skirt and finally seeing my new knickers. They were frilly and silky when I pulled them down to relieve myself. That felt really good, and I found myself stroking the fabric while I shot a golden stream into the toilet. Maybe this was kind of kinky, or at least Ron would think so, I thought with a last guilty stroke, before trying to rearrange myself more comfortably inside the panties. They didn't have the reinforcing of my old underwear, but they clung real tightly. The material behind me kind of eased into my crack, and the feel of the cloth right there made my nipples peek under my shirt. I'd noticed that happen once or twice when I was stroking myself in the bathtub. Why did they do that? My body seemed to be sending me all kinds of odd signals, but I dropped my skirt and brushed it into place before going to wash my hands. My hair looked hot in the mirror, and I leaned close to the glass so I could see the bangs that covered my scar. Reaching up, I tugged on a long curl and watched it bounce back onto my shoulder. It wasn't messy at all, and I wondered if I could leave it this way once I got back to school. "All right, Mary." I started and dried my hands hastily on my plaid skirt before going over to the door and opening it. "Yes, sir. I'm sorry to take so long." His smile was so nice to see that I just had to smile back. "I understand that little girls like to take their time, Mary. I'm just an old bachelor who's forgotten what ages your mother used to take when we were kids. You take all the time you need, little one." It seemed right to slip my hand into his, and he led me into the front room, where an empty table waited for us, with a teapot and 2 cups sitting alongside a plate full of little tea cakes. Once we sat down, he gestured to the teapot, and I tried to remember how Hermione poured it in the common room. It was funny, but I just seemed to slip into her mindset and act like a girl. The professor nodded to me with a smile, and I could tell he was pleased. I found myself wanting to please him, wanting to throw myself into this odd little play that was taking me far away from what had been my life up until now. "Uncle John, could we stop and go shopping before reaching home?" "Good idea, sweetheart. We need to pick up some play clothes for you." He nodded gravely to the waitress and accepted a plate of small, no-crust sandwiches. "Your mother is so strict about dresses only, but I think we could manage some shorts and t-shirt while you're visiting me." His dark eyes shone with mischief, and I had a modest urge to stick out my tongue at him. "Oh, but I like my dresses, Uncle John." The first batted my eyelashes at him and wiggled a little on the soft cushioned chair. "They feel nice against my skin, and they look so very pretty that I almost feel pretty. Sweet Mary, you are the prettiest 12-year-old in the county, and if you want more skirts, then that is what you shall have." He winked at me, and I looked down with a blush. He'd taken 2 years off my age, and I figured that was because I was so flat-chested. "Thank you, Uncle, but you must help me pick out what to wear. You're so good with colors and fabrics. We shall find a dress shop, and you will try on anything your little heart desires, Mary. I will enjoy helping you choose." He offered me the plate of sandwiches, and I did my best to eat too daintily like Hermione would. When we were all done, he paid our tab, and I accepted a compliment from the tea shop owner on my manners. "Woo," I thought while getting back in the car. I passed our first test of muggles. The professor made sure I was strapped in again before starting the car. It was nice to be just the 2 of us again. It kind of felt like an enchanted car when I was safe and wanted.
Stopping at a local dress shop on the other side of York from my cottage, I helped Harry choose 2 new jumpers, 3 high-necked blouses, 2 more skirts, 3 pair of shorts, a white pinafore with lace inserts, and while he was trying on the dress, I put aside several pairs of silk stockings and a little pink lace garter belt that made my groin tighten deliciously. I was buying them for Sunday wear, I murmured to the saleswoman. She murmured back that it was a lovely thought, and my niece was a very lucky little girl. I was the lucky one, I said with what I hoped was an uncle-like smile. But just then Harry came out of the dressing room, in a green silk dress with lace on the bodice and little cap sleeves that showed off his tan beautifully. His shy look as he turned around slowly in front of me made my heart beat faster. Harry, no Mary, was absolutely beautiful. Sweetheart, I think we must have that one for Sunday. You look like a little angel, I told him truthfully, and watched him blush. Go and change while I make sure we have everything. But instead he came over and wrapped his arms around my waist, hugging me tight. The top of his head only came to my mid-chest, and I returned his hug with a little more pressure than perhaps I should have, but then it had been a very long time since I'd gotten a hug from anyone. Thank you, Uncle John. Then he went up on tiptoe, and I leaned down to hear his whisper. I'm going to need more, underwear, and my groin came right to attention. I haven't gotten that hard that fast in decades. I swallowed hard and whispered back, I'll take care of it. His smile and blush were absolutely addicting. Turning around, he ducked back into the dressing room, while I went over to have a low-voiced conversation with the saleswoman. Nothing but the best for my little Mary, the first told her, and selected 6 pairs of the daintiest, frilliest panties that they had. God willing, I'd get to see them on Harry. He joined me then, and took 2 of the bags, while I finished paying, and accepted the other 2 sacks. Once back in the car, I transfigured one of them into a small brown leather suitcase, and with a tap of my wand, all the clothes packed themselves into it. Harry wiggled a little and I realized that was his reaction to pleasure. Ready to go home? I asked him while starting the car. His look was shy, but hopeful. I've never really had a home before, Professor. But I'm ready. Driving down the cobblestone avenues, I smiled. This is the first real home I've ever owned, and it's all mine. It's been my refuge when things got bad, and I hope it will be one for you, as well. His little hand slipped into mine. It will be wonderful because we'll both be safe and happy there. Yes, we will. From now on we need to be Uncle John and Mary only. I gave him a questioning look. I know that will be hard, but if you can just think of yourself as a little girl, and me as your artist uncle, even in your innermost thoughts, you will be less likely to slip up and call me Professor, or for me to slip and call you Harry. I understand, Uncle John. He squeezed my hand. It's funny, but wearing skirts is kind of fun. I like the freedom of them, even though my panties feel odd. He hesitated, then slid a little closer. Is it okay if they feel good? I swallowed again and hardened at that provocative picture. They're silk, so they should feel good. They don't bind your shaft too much. He blushed pale pink and squirmed a little before clearing his throat. No, they don't. They kind of creep up a little darting, look up at me while I tried to look benign them, behind a little. Dear God, I was going to come in my pants. Getting a good grip on my wayward tongue, I hummed a little, while casting about for the right thing to say. Silk boxers do that, too, sometimes. So long as it doesn't hurt, can you live with a little teasing? His blush looked to be permanent, and what a delicious sight it was.